Three, two, three, two, one. Praise you, Sugar Mama. Praise you. Oh, hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back if you love seeing my handsome face talk about TV shows. I'm kidding. I'm not handsome. I'm not at all. Also, I apologize for the ever so switching hairstyles if you have been watching all the What's on the Tubes, because my hairstyle constantly changes because I never think I look good in one hairstyle, so I keep changing it. So I apologize if you can't have a consistent look at me, plus my weight. You know, that happens. Anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about the Proud Family. This has been a show that when Disney Plus came out, that was one of the, not the initial show I was like the most excited to going back and seeing. And I'm gonna give Disney Plus a lot of credit for putting these shows from my childhood on the service. And I wasn't even considering doing this, but it was, I don't know how it happened. I think it was my best friend Michael, who has been on the channel on his PodXcast episode. Coming soon, another episode with him and Charis talking about our 129 memories. That's coming soon. He brought up the something that I won't explain the context of this, but he brought up the the topic of sugar mamas or sugar daddies, or that sort of like, you know, terminology. And then I remember, oh wait, there was a character named Sugar Mama on the Proud Family, and it was like, well, Proud Family's on Disney Plus. And jokingly enough, I currently am not in the energy mood to watch Game of Thrones, Smallville, Swamp Thing, or any of the DCU movies I'm trying to watch. So I was like, you know what, I'll watch the Proud Family. It's like 30-minute chunks. You know, I can see them like fairly quickly, and it's like it just slowly build up since January. It's like, this show's still really funny. It's still really good. And then by the end of it, I just finished watching the movie, and I was kind of debating, like, should I just wrap it up on the series finale? Well, the series finale, we'll get to more on that later, or should I just stop at the movie? But since I always felt like, okay, well, it's a movie, but then when I was watching the movie, I was like, this just feels like a much more of an extended episode with more a bigger budget, and that even gets stretched to its limits, which again I'll explain towards the end. But so yeah, I decided, you know what, I love this show. I love it, and I don't know why. It's like everyone's specific comedy style is very different. Whereas for me, at least what this show accomplishes, that the humor was just right. Sugar Mama just beating up on Oscar was like, God, this is hilarious, and it never got stale. Like, it was like Oscar. Like, I always knew, like, Oscar's is trying to insult his mother, and he's gonna get hit, and they always find such creative ways with Sugar Mama. And this is pretty much, I'm just going to talk about Sugar Mama for the whole show, because like she is hands down the best character on the show. She is. Like, she's not the main character. She is far from it. But her episodes, like, there was like a whole stretch of like Sugar Mama episodes. I think there was like 3 in a row where just focused on her as the central character, or at least had her as the focus alongside Penny. It just worked so well. It was just so funny. And I guess when you're talking, when you're on a TV show and you're focusing on an old lady character, there's only 2 directions you can take the character. You can either take it in a very sweet, polite way, or you can take it as a badass way. And for me, they perfectly capture Sugar Mama's like essence in that. But before, I'll talk about more on her later. Because in reality, this isn't something like on my other shows that I do, either on The Rookie or Nancy Drew, Katie Clean, or High School Musical. There is no story. Like, it is just the characters. It's a family story, where this is a very dysfunctional family with a dad who's trying to be a snack businessman, but spoilers, his snacks suck ass. His very attractive wife. And here's the thing about cartoons for me. I understand why some people have crushes on cartoon female characters or cartoon male characters. I understand that. For me, it was very like, no, this isn't doing it for me. Then we got to Mrs. Proud, Trudy, and she was like, damn, if I was in that animated world, I would try to take her. I'm being completely honest. And you got the 2 little adorable kids who are just there to create problems, but they're always so cute, you kind of tend to forgive them. We have our main character, Penny, and, you know, Sugar Mama being there. It's just like a weird, like, these people should not be in a family together, but they are a family, and they love each other, and that's kind of what makes the core of the foundation of the show work. It's like, they have a very dysfunctional dynamic at times. Like, again, like I said before, like, this should not really be a family, because there's just so many things. Again, now then again, this show happened in the early 2000s, so obviously certain tropes might not work nowadays. Like, I mean, let me rephrase that. Because I think at the moment, like, I'm confusing my words. Because the thing is that what I think many shows didn't do is, like, you got the father character who is very successful. He's bringing home the money. The mom is usually the stay-at-home person, taking care of things. And, you have your typical, like, the sons and daughters, maybe a grandparent or two, that sort of dynamic. With this show, it's like, it kind of like, well, Oscar is supportive, but he's not making the money. I mean, and there's always jokes like, he doesn't bring any income into the house because, like, his snack business sucks. And Trudy's the one making the money with her veterinarian. Goddamn, I can't speak English nowadays. Veterinarian clinic. So she's making all the money, but she's still being I'm gonna say typical, very loosely, taking care of her kids, being a loving wife, being a great friend. She's doing all that on top of it. So it was, I think the first time I've seen something like that, at least when I was a kid. Obviously now, it's like, with me seeing so many TV shows, it's just become the norm. Like, I've seen so many different permutations of different character dynamic, different character beats, story direction, who they are as a character. I've seen so many of them at this point. So, but at least back then, in 05, it was so... Was it 05? I think it was 02. No, it was 02. It was 02. I think 05 was when the show ended with the movie. Or was it 06? I forget. We'll get more of that later. So, but anyway, there's no story to keep track of. I mean, we get some character development, but there is some passage of time, especially with the movie, but it's not really something that they really hammer in home in every episode. It's something like, okay, these are your characters, we're just dropping them in the episode scenario. And that worked. Like, I feel like the problem is that I have with some modern cartoons, and I don't watch that many modern cartoons nowadays. I think the only cartoons I stick around for anymore is Steven Universe Future and We Bare Bears, DuckTales, and those all have story elements to it. Well, not We Bare Bears, but you know what I mean. They all have story, and I'm used to seeing that format. And I feel like too many shows nowadays, the cartoons, and I understand at the end of the day, these cartoons are not meant to be made for kids. They're meant to be made... Well, no, wait. Hold on, I'm sorry. I just came back from seeing Birds of Prey, so my mind's a little crazy. What I was trying to say is that I believe modern cartoons nowadays are... The kids of this generation are different from kids from my generation, where it's like, yes, you're still going to get the slapstilly... fart joke cartoons nowadays, but there was so many cartoons like Teen Titans, like Codename King Nick Store, which I might review in the near future. Who knows? Those shows still have story and still have the same animated comedic tone throughout the episode, and then they were able to tell serious episodes. I'm not saying Proud Family necessarily had to do that, but they were still in the position where it's like, this show is just so connectable with these characters. These characters still have some sort of development. They have character traits to them that they are just not the generic ones. They all have their own unique traits. It all worked out, and I'm gonna say now, usually have a ratio where it's like eventually once a cartoon just keeps going, you're gonna get to those like stale episodes, and that's not an insult to the show or anything. But I do understand that when it comes to a cartoon, and any cartoon is gonna have this problem when you jump over a certain gap. Look at SpongeBob. You're gonna get those stale episodes where those episodes just don't hit the beats. I think with the Proud Family, the ratio between great funny episodes / good episodes to stale episodes, I don't necessarily think I can't think of a bad episode of the show. And that's the thing I have to point out is that this show did not last very long. It lasted for 2 seasons, 2 production seasons and a movie, and the last season was dragged out for 3 years. And when I say dragged out, I don't say drag like on a negative term, because this was not like the typical like 15-minute episodes, but they count one production episode as 2 separate episodes for airing. This is a full 23-minute show, or half-hour show. So they stretched 31 episodes across 3 years. So they took their time to air this out, where I think the first season, which I think was only 20, they aired that entirety in 1 year. So it was definitely to showcase, like, at least on Disney Channel's aspect, they were not going to renew it for season 3, or I don't know the backstory drama. I don't know what happened. But the point, I think there were, I personally believe there was going to be more, but I think Disney just didn't want it. I don't know. Again, I could be wrong. I don't do enough research on these products unless I really, really am going to go hardcore into it, or this information is never really released. It really rarely is. Like maybe years down the line when it's like, a look back interview. They'll might reveal some aspect of it, and then we'll get that new information. We'll kind of figure out what things were like back then. And the thing I'll talk about more later on when we reach the end of it is that the one thing I also really want to see the Proud family right now is that it's not an official announcement, but there's just been so many unofficial confirmations that it is pretty much confirmed at this point. They're going to make another season of the Proud Family for Disney Plus, and I'm so excited for that. Like, yes, and there was just recently before I posted this episode, well, before I recorded this episode, there was an official video from I think the creator, the showrunner, and in the background you get to see the old, like updated older versions of the characters. Like, let's go. This is what I want. This is what I'm excited for. Because, like, if they had just, like, to be fair, if they had just, like, continued straight from this point onwards, from season 2 / the movie, I would have been fine with that. But the fact we're getting a time jump when season 3, I'm excited for it. Now, again, it's not officially confirmed by Disney, but by this point, it's happening. Come on. Like, they just talked about this too much. It was like, it's going to happen. There's going to be a season 3. When is that going to premiere? I don't know. I really don't know. Will I do an episode by episode review for it? I probably won't. But it's just awesome that they're going to make it. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see. No word if they're bringing out the official cast yet. I really hope they do. They're all still in business, but we'll see. Anyway, back to this series. Back to this show. Again, like I said before, all the characters are lovable. Even the side characters. And I say side characters very loosely because, like, when you see the main cast image, those are your main core characters. If they're not on the poster, I consider them side characters or recurring characters or background characters. Well, okay, not background characters, but like characters that just are very important, but they're not important enough to make the poster. So, I love Penny's friends. They all are very unique. And that's another thing, like, it also showcases that even for me personally, it's like, and it also is another resemblance of the real world where it's like, not all friend groups have to be a specific bunch of people. You don't necessarily have to have all Hispanics, all blacks, all whites, all Asian in one group. And I get it. Maybe it's like that was my mentality as a kid, but nowadays I understand, like, there's mixed ethnic group all the time. You have a variety of friends from different ethnic backgrounds. But for me, it was kind of where you had, well, not weird in like a bad way. I just never got used to it. Then again, I kind of was a dumb kid because my two best friends are Mexican and Asian. I'm saying that very loosely. Like, they're my best friends, so I'm allowed to say that. But anyway, I think I lost track there. But anyway, I love those friends. They all did so well. The La Cienega, the Bolivares family was, like, hands down the best extra family we got to see in the show. Because, again, it's the same thing. Like, every character is not a generic, representation of something of that culture. Like, you had Felix. No, wait, is it Felix? Yeah, Felix. Who I looked at him and was like, how does a guy like that get a woman like that? And I compare myself to me because it's like, even though I'm improving, slowly but surely, I'm so surprised. Now again, I understand it's not always about looks, but for me, for some reason, all the females I've ever gone after is about looks. But another show for another time. But anyway, I was just so surprised. But they were still like, they generally love each other, but we don't get to really see much of their love and dynamic. They're in love. And Poppy, oh my god, the fact that they use, I don't know if it's the Cesar Romero voice, but it just reminds me a lot of Cesar Romero, who played Joker in the 60s. That voice was just like, oh my god, this is just hilarious. This is just really hilarious. And the fact that, like, there was a whole payoff in the movie where it's like, no one understood Poppy clearly until the movie. And it was like, this was just a worthwhile build-up, and I loved it. And Sticky was, I did not know Sticky, I think Sticky Bloom was voiced by Orlando, no, there was another Orlando who was in That's So Raven. That I'm trying to remember his last name. I think it's not Orlando Bloom, but it's like close enough, so I don't know why. It's stuck in my head, but anyway. And yeah, I just really, and Three, two, one. So I feel like 3, 2, 1. And the other more I realized is that there's a major monopoly problem in the city of, what's the city's name? I forgot the city's name. But I'm surprised that a single person owns majority of everything. Like this Wiz Kelly fella, like he owns everything. Like the movie theater, the stadium, the pageant, like every episode has something to do with Wizard Kelly. And he is like the best off-screen character I've ever seen. Because like we hear his voice, but we never see his face. I think we saw his face in the movie, but I forgot already. But the fact that we just constantly get to see, like, this guy has a monopoly. This guy should be an issue for the government. But no one says anything. So it's like, it's pretty hilarious how this one guy is so rich. He basically owns the city. If the city's named Keller City, I wouldn't be surprised. But, yeah, let's go back to Sugar Mama, because I can't, like, Sugar Mama, oh my god, well, hands down, one of the best cartoon characters on television. You don't understand. Because she's sweet at moments, but I understand Oscar's point. And believe me, I've had a lot of issues with my mom, too. So, it's just something about it. And again, I have to give credit to, and this is the only voice actress's name I know, because I actually did really look her up. Jo Marie Payton, who played Harriet Winslow from Family Matters. I'm like, what? Like, I didn't know that. Like, I haven't watched every single Family Matters episode, but it was so prevalent in the Nick and Night segment of my life. So it's like, I knew of her, but I was like, I didn't really connect the two until I had to look at it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this was a perfect transition for me personally, because like I haven't seen any of her other works besides those two characters, so it was like for me kind of like a perfect transition. But I understood Oscar's point of like, you know, not liking your mom, having issues with your mom. I understand that, but the fact is that I look at Sugar Mama, it's like her backstory, like the backstory episodes we got of her was like so perfect, so well done, and you know we got to see like I could easily see a Sugar Mama show. I can like do it, Disney Plus, do it. Like, let's get a Sugar Mama show going. But enough harping on my own, like, spin-off tutu trade, as always. It's just something like, again, maybe it's just like seeing a what you would assume to be a typical old lady, but still have her be the, oh my, I just remember the wrestling episode. The Mama's Boy episode. Oh my god, that was so flipping good. Where it's like, they made, like, Oscar embraced the fact he was a mama's boy. But the way, like, again, like, this is not what I expected, because I remember as a kid, it's like, you know, I think my grandma sadly passed away around the time the show ended. So, getting to see that comparison, like, I asked my grandma, can you do that? And she's like, no. So it's like, it was kind of hilarious for me personally to, like, you know, see, like, there are different types of grandmas out there, because my grandma was, like, the typical, like, sweetheart, you know, cooked for me, kind of, maybe I kind of get a couple pounds from her cooking, but, oh well, I really love her cooking, God, I miss her cooking. But anyway, back to this show specifically. That dynamic that Sugar Mama and Poppy had, where it's like, she never understood him, and Poppy was just so gullible enough, well, not gullible, but he was like, I got nothing else going on, I might as well just date this woman. And oh my god, I remember the one where she almost got married with that rich dude, which, offhand, they didn't really refer to it, but this was kind of like an example of dementia. I think that episode, I don't know if that episode created awareness about dementia in senior citizens, but it was like, that was kind of like a soft-spoken episode where it was like, they never had to say dementia, but I knew it's like, this happens often, but you never know where that person's going to end up. And it was another episode where I love when shows, like, they break the norm, and they don't necessarily, like, do the standard, like, this and this and that, and I say that very loosely because, like, they always mix it around. But when it comes to this show specifically, they managed to do something where they broke the norm, like, oh, he's a sugar daddy, ironically. He's just using to get her money. And then when you realize his real backstory, it's prevalent to realize, oh, this happens. This really does happen. And I never experienced it personally, because, like, my grandma never had that issue before she passed. She never had that. And my other grandparents were never around. So I don't know that feeling personally. I don't have any friends that have that. So for me, I don't really have a connection to it, but I do feel for them. It's like, that was an issue. That was an issue. Well, it still is an issue. And, you know, to kind of bring it to light, but in a subtle, funny manner, but also, like, having a peaceful resolution. But it's like, it was fine that Sugar Mama went through an entire week-long, like, regimen to get fit, and then she eats one bite of cake, and then she suddenly loses all that progress she made, and Poppy's like, oh no, ay Dios mío, she's returned. Oh my god, I know this kind of doesn't feel like a series review, because I'm not reviewing every single aspect of the series. Like, I could go more into depth on, like, certain, like, how was the school fracture? Oh, I forgot to mention the Gross Sisters. So hilarious. I'm sorry if my grammar seems very basic. I'm not trying to be a very sophisticated reviewer. I'm just a guy with a subscription service, with a camera, and a microphone. That's all I got, man. I'm not trying to be the next John Oliver or something with TV shows. I'm not. But anyway, I think my favorite episode of the series, which is another one where it's like, it sticks out more because of certain line. Where it's like there's always that one episode of a show you always remember no matter what. And now rewatching it, it's like, okay, some things that I remember as a kid didn't actually sync up. Slash, this, now seeing it again, has definitely like, maybe like, God, I love this episode even more. The karate episode. That was the one episode that somehow stuck in my head more, because I took karate classes when the show was airing. So, I never necessarily compared that show to my real life class. I never really did. It was just hilarious, like, financially speaking, the show really hit the point. Like, karate classes are expensive. Like, I think my dad spent like $70 a month for karate classes for me. And it was a lot of money back then, because we went monthly, and eventually my sister took classes, so now that increased to $140. And it was a lot. It was really a lot, and, you know, I commend my parents for wanted me to take that class, and I feel like one of their primary reasons for me taking the class was to lose weight. And spoilers, that class did not help me to make me lose weight. I'll never forget one time I was training for my black belt exam, and my mom pushed me to my limits. She wanted me to take 4 classes in one day, and then by the 3rd class, I was like, I can't. My body is out of energy, because I didn't have a proper lunch. Because the problem is that with that period of time, it's like the 3 classes I needed to take in terms of training for the test were all back to back to back. So I really couldn't have a lunch break. I had maybe like a small drink or something, maybe orange juice, but that was really it. I didn't really get into that. And then when we got to the 4th class, well, the supposed 4th class, my mom had to like bribe me, like, I will buy you McDonald's if you take the 4th class. I'm like, McDonald's is not worth the lack of energy I had. So I said, screw you. Well, I didn't say screw you. I said, no, we're going home. And we went home. And she was kind of like, oh, you should have took that 4th class. So it's like, whatever. It's over. That time of my life is over. But the karate episode was definitely one that really stuck out. And it was also another, like, parallel to real life. And I keep saying that a lot in my reviews, where you saw that just because you spend more money for something doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the same quality return than you would have on something else. Where Penny had to, Penny's parents spend less on Penny for the main regular kind of cheap dojo compared to the more expensive one, but what was a little bit more easier, a little bit more lighthearted and light going. And when we got to the tournament, the difference in skill definitely showcased, where it's like, yeah, these kids, you know, may not have gotten the most luxurious experience, but they got to get the most skill out of it, while the others got the reverse of that. And that was a very fun thing. And I always remember the Sugar Mama line. It's like, $125? You know what I would have bought back in my day? And I say that line. I used that line so many times throughout my recent years, but I never really connected it back to Proud Family until like I got Disney Plus and I started to remember, oh, I got this line from this show, from Sugar Mama. And that was amazing. And I don't think I'm forgetting any other aspect. Yeah, I don't think I have. It's going to be a very interesting direction where they're going to take season 3, because it is going to be a time jump. We're going to get an age growth with the characters. They're producing this in a very different time. So will they keep the norm of the characters, or are they going to modernize them for where things are at right now in 2020? We'll see what happens. I can't wait for season 3 to happen. But overall, the first 2 seasons were great. And the movie, I honestly think less of the movie than I originally watched it. Where again, I understand this was a movie made in 2006 or 2007 or whenever the movie came out. It was a very different time period animation in terms of like making a theatrical animated movie. Well, not theatrical, but like a feature-length animated movie. Where I think the only comparison I used to make back then was Kim Possible, the Kim Possible movie, So the Drama. Don't know how I still remember that name, but whatever. The difference between those two is that, and I haven't seen So the Drama since 2006, and there's a whole different personal story to tell with that movie. Maybe if I ever rewatch the Kim Possible stuff, I'll do that on this show, and I'll talk about it then. But right now, from what I remember, is that I really enjoy the Proud Family movie so much, where in this case, I still enjoyed it, but not to the same level that I originally enjoyed it. Where it's like, I did notice, and this could either be an animation direction decision, or it could just be limitations of the budget. I know there was a lot of shots, like some of the CG is like, oof, this is very early on in CG mixing with traditional animation. This does not look good. And some of the animation backdrops and some of the animation like stills, they look they didn't look complete. They look like they did the best they could, but then they had to move on to the more bigger show. And I understand that, like, when it comes to animation, and obviously anything that has a release date, you have to get it done by the release date. And again, I don't know the production history of that movie. I don't know. I still think it's a good, entertaining movie, and it had a logical, like, leap in logic where it's like, when you do a movie based on an animated property, you're gonna raise the stakes up to, like, make it movie worthy. Where in this case, it did make sense. Like Dr. Carver being the villain, like, it connected to what the Proud Family, one of their aspects was. It built on that story. It didn't go all like it did kind of go a save the world type thing, but it never really like felt like that at time. Where it's like, yeah, things could negatively happen, but there was never really like, this is a doomsday level event or anything. For me personally, I could be wrong. And getting to see the role reversals between the Peanut clones and the actual cat was so brilliant that it was wise to get at least one member of each group, not part of the original team. So when we see Penny with the clones, we got to see a very different aspect of these characters, but still funny, but also still in line of what a clone is, where we see Oscar with the hot dogs, and Trudy being the old-ass teenage, wannabe. Sugar Mama being somehow Spanish for some reason. And I really would have loved to see more scenes between Spanish Sugar Mama and Poppy. I would have loved to see that. I would have loved to see more of that, and that would have been so worth it, but obviously limitations for a 90-minute movie that you had to cut stuff out. And the scene where BB becomes like, he gets a voice, I'm like, oh my god, things got just so much more serious from that, and it was funny as hell. And I kind of rewind the scene where they're escaping in the helicopter and they're like doing the sinister, hey, we're getting away with this, and but it kind of falls apart for me a little bit by the third act, where I think some things are just easily too soft. For me personally, it's just me. They have to like get this done in 90 minutes, but either way, I really enjoyed the movie, and having that be had that been the finale, I would have been okay with it. I mean, there could have been a better finale, and thankfully they're hopefully going to be able to continue the story proper in season 3. But overall, the Proud Family is just a great series. I highly recommend you have Disney Plus. Take the time to watch. It's not that long. It's like 50 episodes in a movie. That's nothing. That's really nothing. I mean, I've seen Supernatural. That's like over 320 episodes by this point, and I'm still here talking about it. So what's the excuse? I'm kidding. But either way, I highly recommend this show if you haven't. Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. I don't think they have a DVD release, from what I'm aware. I know the movie had a physical release. I don't know about the show, but if you have Disney Plus, it's there. 2 thumbs up in my books. And that's going to do for me. So thank you guys so much for watching this very long delayed Monday segment of What's on the Tube. This was actually the show I've been working on behind the scenes. Well, in terms of me watching, but things keep happening. Things keep popping up. But I hope to do more of this stuff in the future. I kind of was disappointed in myself I wasn't able to get this done quicker, because there was a bunch of other shows I would have liked to talk about while we were on this break. But there's nothing I could really do. Because next time, what's coming up on What's on the Tube, because there's no Proud Family Season 3 to review just yet. Usually we have 3 time slots for What's on the Tube. So if you're interested in hearing me talk about other TV shows, on Saturdays we do Katie Clean, the musical comedy spinoff of Riverdale. That's just starting up fresh, so you have time to jump in on that show if you want. I also do Nancy Drew on Thursday nights, and we have a little fun segment called Mystery Corner, which I remember to do it last time? I don't remember. I was so out of it that week. And next week, finally, on the Monday time slot, the Rookie returns. Let's go. Gotta have a lot to say on that episode when it comes out, or at least have a lot to talk about during the break. And I'm excited for it. But if you're interested in any of those 3 shows, if you're interested in the Rookie, Nancy Drew, or Katie Clean, watch the shows and then come see me talk about it on Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. Whenever in the day. It's up whenever it's up. I can't really, it depends how long I do the review for, how long it takes to render and stuff like that. The usual editing, post-production, shenanigans. But in terms of another one-off, I don't think I'm going to do one for quite a while. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys, let me know in the comments. Do you love Proud Family? Are you excited for Season 3? Start the conversation down there, because I'm always there in the comments. If you comment, I'm 95% certain I will respond. I'm not one of those creators, I'll let the comments stack up and leave them unresponsive. I always respond to everything. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked What's on the Tube from ActionX, please subscribe to the channel for more. Ring the bell for when a new video goes live. Like, favorite, share the video. Again, I think I said that before. And follow us on all the social media feeds, including our brand new Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ActionXGames. We are currently doing Platinum Maxing, which is our Twitch exclusive gaming show where I try to platinum a PS4 game and also max it out. We're currently doing Spyro Reignited Trilogy with Spyro 2. That I usually try to stream every weekend, but I'm going to try and stream more, but it's all about finding time in my very restricted schedule because I do school and, other stuff. So, yeah. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys soon. Peace out.